Why, oh why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again?
Hello guys, welcome to the Real Word List. I'm your host Betty. So please consider subscribing if you haven't. For those who have subscribed, thank you so much for joining the family. So guys, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about something that is actually really interesting. And the question is, why do white people vote against their own interests? Now, that's a big claim, and I saw a creator named Kelly Snyder break it down in a way that people actually got talking. Before we continue, guys, let's check out the clip.
Why, oh why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness. That term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites. Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws. Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, the usual scapegoats. Third, the elites promise protection to poor white folks. A politician comes along and says, I'll keep those people in their place, or I'll kick them out, or I'll lock them up. Or, more politely, I'll defend your values. They don't say, I'll make your life better. Well, they say it, they just don't mean it. They'll say, I'll make sure they don't get ahead of you. Fourth, they vote for the punishment, not the policy. When a law gets passed that slashes public housing or school funding or food aid, they think, good, that'll stop those lazy freeloaders. And they do some mental gymnastics that make them believe it's worth losing those things for their own families in order to see those problematic black people and immigrants and so forth being punished. It gets to a point where just seeing those guys being punished is reward enough, which is pretty sick, but that's how behavior works. Their housing, schools, and groceries are on the chopping block too, but they blame that on Biden. Always a scapegoat. They get hit by the same policies they were told would punish the others, and they blame the wrong people. The system fails them, but they've been trained to blame the scapegoats, not the cause, which is the rich people, the people they voted for. So they think the problem is still those people, not the fact that they were personally manipulated by the people they voted for. They're basically saying, I'll take the hit as long as you don't help them, or worse, as long as you hurt them. That is the psychological wage Du Bois was talking about, the trade-off between material security for racial status. And that's a crying shame, folks.
When the American empire finally collapses, historians won't be stunned by the greed of the elite. They will be stunned by the loyalty of the poor. That stopped me in my tracks. The working class didn't just vote against their own interests, they worshipped the billionaires robbing them. They slashed their own benefits, gutted their own healthcare, and cheered while the rich wrote off private jets as tax deductions. Not because it helped them, but because they were told it would hurt someone else. And that right there is how you rig a democracy without ever breaking a single law. Some laws were broken, but this tweet makes such an important point. The greed of the elite is expected. What is not expected is the loyalty of the poor, of the working class, to those who are taking from them. That is what is going to be studied in the history books.
Welcome back, guys. So let's just unpack it together, and no judgment, just truth, vibes, and questions. Okay, so here's the thing. We've seen folks say that poor white Americans keep voting for politicians who do nothing for them. No healthcare, no help, just struggle. But check this. Research actually shows most low-income voters do vote Democrat like 3 out of 4 times. So it's not that they are all Republican. But when they do vote against things that might help them economically, well, that's where the convo gets real. And that's where Kelly Snyder comes in. Kelly's TikTok hit differently. She said poor white folks have told generations, you may not have money, but at least you're better than somebody. And guess who that somebody is? Yeah, you already know. So when a politician says, I'll see you, I'll protect your way of life, even if they bring nothing to the table, some folks still ride with that. It's not about money. At that point, it's about identity, superiority, and survival. And honestly, that's deep. Kelly even says straight up, vote for MAGA politicians. Then prices go up, healthcare disappears, and nothing gets better. You know what? That feeling of being used for a vote, then forgotten, we know that too. Black folks, Caribbean folks, the diaspora, yeah. We've seen it. Campaign season comes, promises fly, and then crickets. So guys, this isn't just about them. It's about how power manipulates pain across all communities. Now, let's be real. This isn't about calling poor white people down. They're responding to something that feels bigger than a paycheck. It's fear, it's tradition. It's someone saying, I'll protect your America, even if that America don't protect them. And the crazy part, they don't realize they're being played. Just like many of us have been too. So now, the question is, what really makes someone vote? Is it policy, pain, fear, or pride? Because we've seen how black and brown people get blocked from voting through ID laws, polling games, suppression tactics. But poor white voters, they're allowed to vote, but still vote for people who don't care. Let me know, guys, in the comment section, what makes people vote. Guys, that's just not about being uninformed. That's deep generational programming, guys. And honestly, it's the system working exactly how it was built. So when you hear someone say, why are you voting like that? Just know it ain't always about sense of stats. It's about what people think they're protecting, even if they're losing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you see this where you live? Have you felt used in elections? Let's talk about it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. Till the next one. Bye.